first article is about lobbying, which is when big companies spend money in an attempt to influence government decisions. Money is being spent more now than it ever has been, with a new record of $4.4 billion. The biggest spenders have been the National Association of Realtors, which they've spent $86.3 million, healthcare companies, which have spent $744 million, and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, which has spent the most overall since 2015. Their biggest goal is to influence federal spending and the military defense bill. These big spikes in the healthcare sector happened when major laws were debated, such as the Affordable Care Act in 2009 and the drug cost bill and COVID in 2021. Mullen says that pharma has been the most powerful lobby since the 1950s, and it usually gets what it wants. This real estate lobbying spiked after new commission rules, such as the $418 million settlement with the FTC that changed how real estate agents get paid. And then the oil and gas lobbying jumped in response to tougher EPA pollution regulations. Tech and electronic companies are also now huge lobbying spenders, with giants like Meta, TikTok, Amazon, and Google pushing hard on issues like AI, kid safety, and data privacy. Lobbying continues to grow to a realization that change needed to happen. In 2016, when Trump was elected, they realized that this change was something that needed to happen. They also started to understand that spending more led to better results. Lobbyists in both parties started being tougher on businesses when Trump started attacking these businesses such as pharma and tech, and Biden was acted as a progressive regulator. Their policies led to these companies having to spend record amounts, and with Trump back in office, these trends are set to keep growing.
Hi, I'm Casey.
Hi, I'm Lily, and we believe that lobbying and interest groups are helpful in the policy-making process.
Interest groups are helpful because they help educate the public. Not only is it a channel for voices where interest groups act, but it's where also individuals make their needs and views known to policymakers. It also provides a platform for diverse and specialized concerns to be heard. It's also mobilizing the public groups to participate in voter education, mobilizing members to vote for sympathetic candidates, and can even lead public opinion campaigns to promote policy objectives.
Lobbyists influence policy positively towards the people they speak for. This is done through their knowledge of who to talk to, how and when to present an effective argument, and how to proceed after a decision has been made. Lobbyists being on both sides allows for elected officials to be provided with information to equip them when weighing the different viewpoints at him. Lobbyists also hold elected officials and the policies they make accountable through the monitoring of policy and commitments made by those in office, using legal and public advocacy to expose violations of ethic laws and demand enforcement.
Hello everyone, my name is Avery Knight, and this is my debate partner,
Piper Esposito.
And today we're here to debate how interest groups can be harmful to society.
The first major point is too much money is being spent on federal lobbying, and this is harmful because companies spend way too much money on federal lobbying to get more resources, which cause smaller/less fortunate businesses to have less access to those resources. This is shown when the oil and gas industry spent $151.1 million on federal lobbying, increasing its spending by $17.6 million. Many groups spend this money to protect their industries from regulations. The result of these policies often lead toward the priorities of those who can spend the most, not necessarily the broader public or in society's best interests.
These interest groups are often self-interested and focus on themselves and not society, which is why they spend so much more money on federal lobbying to gain more resources for themselves, leading into our second point of unequal representation throughout these businesses and companies. It's harmful because in our world today, money buys a bigger voice, which isn't democracy, it's inequality, leaving smaller interest groups like nonprofits with less resources for their concerns and their voices easily drowned out. For instance, pharmaceutical companies spent over $375 million on lobbying in 2024. Meanwhile, health nonprofits like Family USA or Public Citizen, which fight for lower drug costs and patient protection, have a much smaller budget in comparison to these larger companies.
Lobbying brings together a diversity of stakeholders, those who have an interest or concern in a policy, during key policy decisions. This is done by having a larger group of people's voices heard compared to only those in power. For example, lobbyists provide crucial support during the Defense Department authorization bill, which impacted a multitude of intelligence and federal agencies, and lobbying on federal spending during the potential of a government shutdown.
Big corporations and wealthy industries can afford to spend millions on lobbying, causing them to be more narrow-minded, putting their members' interests over the general public interest. This also leads into the policy outcomes becoming more skewed as powerful groups influences policy outcomes, while purposes of average citizens have no effect. More money equals a bigger voice.
In conclusion, lobbying is helpful because it bonds the gap between complex public policy and the real world expertise, needs, and concerns of diverse participants. It ensures that lawmakers are well informed, providing timely, relevant information and technical insights, especially on involved legislation. By expanding a variety of voices ranging from small businesses to large organizations, lobbying contributes to more balanced, representative, and effective policymaking in a democratic society.
In conclusion, interest groups don't give everyone a fair voice. The deeper your pockets, the louder your voice. We believe that's not democracy, it's a mask for inequality. Thank you so much for your time, and this is why we believe interest groups are harmful to society.